This is the MGTOW Infinium here with another Infinium Free Talk. This Infinium Free Talk is entitled A Few Thoughts. My brothers, I would like to share with you some thoughts I've been having in the last couple of days because of certain things that have been floating around the internet, and just as some commentary as to how I feel about these things, these thoughts that I've had. And the first item is Ebony K. Williams. I believe she is a lawyer, and I know that she does work for the Griot publication. So recently, Ebony was on a show with another woman. I can't remember her name right offhand, but she was given the question, would you date a bus driver? And she responded, if he owned the bus company, but otherwise I would not date a bus driver. And so my brothers, first of all, I would like to commend anyone in our community, anyone in the MGTOW community who is driving a large vehicle like a bus or a tractor trailer or truck, conventional truck, because my brothers, I know that is a difficult job. That is a difficult task to do. But yet you are able to do that task on a regular basis and navigate yourself around traffic. If you're a bus driver, you're carrying passengers, you ensure the safety of those passengers. You have to deal with the crazy people on the road, all those types of things. I would like to commend you, my brothers, those of us in the community who are doing those types of tasks, or any type of task that is considered a blue-collar task where it is quite difficult, where you are looked upon or frowned upon as being beneath women like Ebony K. Williams or whoever else that slams you. Because, my brothers, I will put it this way. The largest vehicle I ever drove was a large Ford van for a franchise I was once working for. And I found that at times to be difficult. So if you scale that up to a tractor trailer or a bus or a tandem bus, a tandem tractor trailer, any type of large vehicle, I know that is a difficult task. But I know that there are brothers out there who do that on a regular basis and do it in a way that it is almost like nothing to them. But yet I know women like Ebony who regularly slam blue-collar workers, because that's what it is. It is the elevation of a woman like her over a blue-collar man, to the extent that she would have nothing to do with him except that if he owned the company of the vehicle he was driving. My brothers, that's what it is about. These women that say these things, that really look from their quote-unquote high towers down upon we men who are out there working, who are out there trying to do what we need to do, they are the ones that really cannot exist without those types of men. They cannot exist without the men that drive those trucks, that drive the buses, that do all these things, the pilots that fly planes, all these things. These women cannot do these things. There are far and few of them that can even consider doing something like driving a bus on a regular basis. And for those ones that do drive a truck, that do drive a bus, women like Ebony look down upon them as well. But keeping it just to our community, again, my brothers, those of you who are doing these things, these women cannot do what you do and do what comes natural to you, because they are incapable of doing it. And you may find that in particular when you look upon yourself as a free MGTOW man, that you are doing something as well, which is incomprehensible to women like Ibani, and that is walking in freedom on a pathway which takes you to freedom. The next thought, my brothers, is what happens when blue-collar men reject these women, when they reject women like Ibani, who again are very rich, very well off. They have positions of power. But what happens, my brothers, when they get rejected? My brothers, I will say this. In the years that I have been a MGTOW, it has become apparent to me, and ever increasingly apparent to me, that it is these women who cannot handle rejection. And whether it is a high-value man or a low-value man, a blue-collar man or a white-collar man, these women cannot handle rejection. And so imagine, my brothers, a blue-collar man rejecting a high-value woman. And my brothers, I can tell you countless stories of where I, as quote-unquote the meh value man, I stand only 5'8", 5'8" tall. I have a geeky, nerdy look about me. But my brothers, again, I can tell you countless times where I have rejected a woman, etc. in a public place just because I just want to be left alone and had no desire to have a woman in my life, where those women, etc. have flipped out, have followed me through grocery stores, have cursed at me, have done all types of things, shamed me, and said I was inferior. And it was a range of women that did this to me. It was black to white and in between. And it was these women who could not handle rejection. And so if you can imagine, my brothers, how butthurt women like Ibani get when a blue-collar man rejects them and says that he would rather be alone than to be in a relationship with them. My brothers, again, it is these women who say these things who cannot themselves handle rejection. And my brothers, it is something that they feel that their wealth, their power, their status, who they are, makes them valuable. And what happens with men like blue-collar workers, these men would rather have a woman who would love them, who would have their backs, who would not step out on them when they're working hard, all these types of things. And they know in their minds that a woman like Ibani would do nothing but dominate their lives and make their lives a total hell. But see, my brothers, again, it is these women who are losing the battle because, again, their wealth, their power, their standing in the community, they can be anything and everything. They can own their own companies. They can be congresswomen, senators, that type of thing. But they are in a condition and in a time when MGTOW men who are blue-collar workers can see through what is considered to be their BS, and they merely walk away from them. Because it is better to be alone. It is better to not date. It is better to not cohabitate. It is better to not get married. That's what these men are seeing. And they're seeing the wisdom in staying away from women like Ibani. So, for instance, if that bus driver is a MGTOW, yes, he will drive his bus, he will do what he needs to do, but he will also live a life of freedom and peace because of the MGTOW philosophy and his embracement of it. That's what it is about. That's what we need to understand as MGTOW men. To ignore the insults of women like Ibani or any woman who says that we are quote-unquote demonic or we're less than because of our embracement of a philosophy which frees us in every way possible, which also saves our lives in every way possible, and as well restores our freedom, which we rightfully deserve, my brothers. That's what it is. And that's what these women like Ibani can never comprehend. That is the right of men to be free, to live free, and to not be dominated in any way possible. Now, my brothers, the third and final thought. This morning, as I normally do, I listen to conservative radio shows that come on overnight, either over the internet or either over AM radio or shortwave, this and that and whatever. And this morning I happened to listen to a portion of a show which the host's name is Jeff Rentz, and he had a guest on by the name of Donald Jeffries. And they were discussing the state of our country, how badly things have gotten. And during the course of that conversation, they got on the topic of men dropping out of society, so to speak, men walking away from society. And it was during the course of that discussion that the acronym MGTOW came up. It was brought up by Donald Jeffries, and he actually said it was men going their own way. I kind of drifted off to sleep right after that, so I didn't catch the tail end of that conversation. But my brothers, this is just a PSA to remind you that the MGTOW philosophy is being spoken over the airwaves, MSM, media, all types of things. We already know it is all over the internet. We already know that the government agencies know about us. They know who we are because of events that have happened to some of our brothers. But this was just further confirmation that the MGTOW philosophy is now becoming mainstream. And so what that means, my brothers, is this. We are going to encounter, of course, the intensity being ramped up in terms of the MGTOW philosophy being shamed, being decried, being called something that is detrimental to society, that we are dangerous, that we are terrible men, that we are criminals for seeking our freedom, all types of things. It is going to get more intense upon us. And so I would say to you, my brothers, that nevertheless, we collectively as well as individually must hold the line and must understand that the ones that are coming against us cannot ever comprehend what it is to be free and to walk in this land as free men who rightfully have the right to be free, who have the right to live and exist as free men. They will come at us in every way possible, and they will try to rob us of our dignity. They will do anything and everything to us. But nevertheless, my brothers, we collectively as well as individually must hold the line, and we must never let anything pull us off of the pathway of freedom, which we know is a lifesaver. We must never let anything pull us off of that path, and we must keep ourselves focused upon that path and not be distracted by anything and everything that is done to us to try to deter us and say that we are not free men. This is the MGTOW Infinium, and this has been an Infinium Free Talk. My MGTOW brothers, as always, stay safe, stay strong, stay on the MGTOW path, and remember, MGTOW is the liberation of men's minds. MGTOW cannot and will not be stopped.